Yo, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to another video. So today I want to talk about the Apple Vision Pro, and I know I made a video about this pretty recently, but seeing more and more people review the product and just talk about their experience and showing even what it looks like from the display of looking through the so-called glass display. It's very interesting, so I wanted to kind of recap all of what I've seen and just tell you if I personally think this is a step in the right direction. So I'm going to jump into it with this video. So the Apple Vision Pro is clearly going after a certain type of market, considering the price point of how expensive these things are. If you go on YouTube, obviously you're going to see social media influencers, YouTubers being the ones who are going to review these products. And it makes sense because Apple wants to get their name out there. They want people to see the product. But for most people, you're not able to afford this type of device. It's almost like the high-end Lamborghinis and the really just expensive cars that most people can't own, but you get to watch and see what it's like to drive one on YouTube. I mean, over $3,000 for a completely new product, I think is honestly absurd. I think Apple, I hope they considered making a product that most people could afford or at least come close to, but to pay over $3,000 for this type of product, which does again have many flaws based on the videos that I've seen, I think that's crazy. Now, besides the price point, when it comes to the device itself, Apple claims that the front display is almost like a glass material, which I had referenced in my video previously, but what I found out was that it's actually more of a plastic material, and the scratch resistant is not great whatsoever. It's very, very... you're going to get a lot of scratches on it if you don't have a case, and if it touches the ground, anything like that. Even if you were to touch your keys on it for a second, it's definitely going to scratch the device pretty severely, which is upsetting considering, again, the price point of that device. Now, the look of it definitely has that futuristic, kind of gray, white look with black. I really do like the front display of it. I think it looks really nice, besides the whole fake glass. But the material on it, I do think, is definitely the beginning stage. I think Apple still has to consider how heavy do they want the headset, what type of materials do they want with the headset. I think there's a lot that they're going to have to consider. And I think, again, I don't want to be too harsh because I do think this is the first time that this type of product has come out. Previously, when I had heard about the device coming out, I thought it was going to be very similar to some other VR headsets, and I think that's not the case. I think this kind of falls in its own category of like a VR and AR headset. And I think the whole point of this device is not only to have those similar experiences that you have on an Oculus or, AR, but I think to go about your daily life while having, this technology that you can use while the world is going on around you. I think that's kind of the point. And if you watch a lot of these YouTubers that are using it, I think what I find really interesting is, one, it almost makes you seem like you're this otherworldly being that's not from this planet, and people look at you like, what's going on? But two, I think it's almost tricky to actually use, because if you think about it, not only do you have the entire world going on around you and there's so many stimulants and things going on at the same time, but now you have displays and keyboards and messages and operating systems that you can see, and you can multitask while looking into the device. And so, again, I think you have to be very cautious of what you're doing while you have it. I've seen some great YouTube channels that, they're on the train using the device, or they're walking in New York City, or they're about to get on a plane and then they're on the plane. It's so interesting to think about where you can use this actual product. Now, I don't know if I would personally bring it in public, considering how expensive it actually is. Again, if you're a YouTuber and you have all this disposable money that you're able to just throw away, sure, whatever. But I think for the average consumer, you are going to be very careful with bringing this out. I mean, it is very expensive. I'm sure most people, if they were to buy this product, would not want it to get damaged, have someone rip it off their head and just run away with it. I mean, there's a lot to think about when it comes to this product. So it's definitely in that beginning stage of, how do we figure this out? And I think Apple understands that. And I think Apple knows that this is a beginning product. There are going to be a lot of things that we need to work on. And getting to that point, I do think there are definitely some big things Apple needs to fix with this device, based on the videos that I've seen. Number one, again, I think that front display is like probably the biggest thing. I don't understand why they decided to have a so-called real glass, but it's plastic, and have it it's so easily scratchable. And that's upsetting for a product that is that expensive. You would hope that, those type of goggles at least wouldn't be able to scratch that easily, but unfortunately Apple went kind of the cheap route with that. The next thing is, I do think that obviously the processor, when it comes to the AI, the new Apple Vision Pro, I do think they can come out with faster chips and have it more smooth. I have seen a lot of videos where it's very laggy when they're just moving different things, which again, that's something that they need to fix. I also think the size of the headset, because right now, I call it a headset, but right now the size of the device is pretty big. It's not a small thing. It's not like how you would see in those futuristic movies of glasses that you could just put on, or even contact lenses. And again, I hope that that's kind of the step. And I think Apple is doing this not so much because they want all these consumers to buy it. I think more of the purpose of this is to, reach a certain point where this is where, we get with technology is, it's not just VR and it's not just AR, it's implementing it into our daily lives. It's not like you have to sit down in one place and only be able to use it there. It's you can go out, you can sit at a park and, type up whatever you need to do while you're using your VR headset. And, you could, be at a family gathering and, whatever. So I really like Casey Neistat's reference that he made his video about the Vision Pro, where he was like, if you get a call from your mom and you're just like, hey mom, gotta go by, and you just swipe away. I think that's really gonna be the future eventually. I do think Apple did a really good job with their just how it's able to detect where your fingers are in the movement of your fingers. I think that's incredible. I think they nailed that honestly off the bat with this product. So again, I think it's really cool. I think it's a really cool product. Do I wish I had it? Yeah, of course. I mean, listen, I'm not making these videos because I'm like, I can't afford it. That's not the point. It's more of just reviewing the product and actually looking at it from a realistic perspective of, is this something that most people are going to be able to buy? And the answer is no, it's not. Now, if I was serious about getting this headset and the Vision Pro, I think I'd probably wait a generation or two. I'd wait for Apple to really, upgrade this device, learn from their mistakes, and try to get better with the device itself, which I do think Apple definitely will do, and I'm looking forward to that. But I don't think this first generation is the best. And I think this will probably end up being the worst headset that they'll ever make, this Vision Pro. But again, you got to start somewhere. So I got to give credit to Apple. I mean, they came out with the product. Definitely made a bold move to make it that expensive. But again, I hope that more companies come out with this. I hope Samsung does something like this where they come out with this type of headset. And I'm sure they're considering doing that. But just more companies getting into this kind of realm of it's not just VR, it's not AR. It's, you're really in your daily life using it. I think it's going to be interesting if, years down the line, everyone's walking around with these goggles that they can do all these different things to. It takes us further away from being an actual human. As Elon Musk once said, we already are cyborgs. You think about it. Because we're always attached to our phones. So anyways, let me know down in the comments below, what do you guys think of the Vision Pro headset? I think it's interesting, to say the least. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace out. Bye.